Viewers, everyone is talking about a likely offensive by Tigray Defense Forces to capture Western Tigray. Some sources are claiming that the offensive is already underway. But no one is giving us the details. How would TDF advance towards Tigray Sudan border? How would TDF take control of Humera? What would be the targets of Tigray Defense Forces? Would they target Humera first or Wolkait first? So several important questions. So I thought of making a detailed video about TDF's strategy, likely strategy to capture Western Tigray. I am calling it Western Tigray because when this war started, this area, Humera, Tsagade, Wolkait, these places were part of Tigray. That is why I call them Western Tigray. So I'm not saying that these areas, Humera, Wolkait, and Tsagade, belong to Tigray, not Amhara. I am not the one to decide to which region these areas belong. Now, the first and foremost question for TDF would be whether to capture Humera first or Wolkait first. If TDF decided to move towards Humera, it would have only one option: to mobilize its forces from Shiraro. From Shiraro, Tigray Defense Forces could move towards Birkuta. There is a road which links Birkuta to Shiraro. And then from Birkuta, Tigray Defense Forces can move towards Humera. But this offensive could be very risky because the road which links Shiraro with Birkuta is very close to Tigray-Eritrea border. We already know that Eritrean forces are in Humera. Reuters 2 days ago published some pictures from Humera in which Eritrean soldiers were seen inside Humera. It means Eritrean forces deployed along border areas from Shiraro to Humera, Hajar. They would not allow Tigray Defense Forces move from Shiraro towards Birkuta. So we could see artillery strikes from Eritrea side of the border on Tigray Defense Forces if they moved from Shiraro towards Birkuta. That is why capturing of Humera first is not the strategy of Tigray Defense Forces. It must not be the strategy of Tigray Defense Forces. It could be suicidal. So what would TDF do now? TDF would go for Wolkait, viewers. TDF will definitely advance towards Wolkait. Some sources say that fighting has already started in Wolkait. Wolkait is a huge area and there are some towns in this area. Adi Ramets, I hope my pronunciation is correct. Adi Ramets is going to be the first major target of Tigray Defense Forces. Adi Ramet is a major town of Wolkait, viewers. Tigray Defense Forces can cross Takaze River and from Asgade Simbala, they can move towards Adi Ramet. There is a road which links Asgade to Simbala with Adi Ramet. And once Tigray Defense Forces are in control of Adi Ramet, they can easily move towards Humera. So the first and foremost target of Tigray Defense Forces would be Adi Ramet. But in order to capture Adi Ramet, only advance from Asgade Simbala towards Adi Ramet, it wouldn't be sufficient. Tigray Defense Forces would have to cut off supplies arriving in Adir Ahmed's and in Tasagade views. Where are supplies coming to Adir Ahmed's? From where are supplies coming to Adir Ahmed's? To Adir Ahmed's, supplies are coming from three direction roads. Two roads from Amhara state, supplies are coming along these two roads, and thirdly from Hajar site of Eritrea border, supplies are coming. Gondar, Dibarak, Mate Samri road is being used firstly. There is a road, main road, which links Gondar with Dibark, Mate Samri. And when this road enters Tigray, to the west of this road, Amhara regional forces can send supplies towards Adir Ahmed's. Second route of supplies is the major one, viewers. And this route is Gondar, Dansha, Adir Ahmed road, viewers. This road is functional. We know that supplies are arriving in Adir Ahmed's along this road. Thirdly, we know that there is presence of Eritrean forces in Hajar, in Humera. The supplies are arriving in Adir Ahmed's from Hajar, then in Humera, then they arrive in Adir Ahmed's. Tigray Defense Forces would have to cut off these supplies. How would they do it? In order to cut off supplies to Adir Ahmed's, TDF would have to take this war into Amhara state. We are already hearing some news that fighting is underway in Dibarak, though Dibarak is deep into Amhara state. But TDF would like to keep the two roads under pressure. Gondar Mate Samri road and Gondar Dansha road. So we could see Tigray Defense Forces entering Amhara region and carrying out attacks along the two roads, Gondar Mate Samri road and Gondar Dansha road. The purpose of these attacks would definitely be to cut off supplies to Adir Ahmed. In my view, Adir Ahmed is the key place if Tigray Defense Forces launched an offensive on western Tigray. Their first target would be Adir Ahmed. And once they are in control of Adir Ahmed, they can mobilize towards Humera. They can capture Humera. So the war which is going to happen, if it happened, it would be in Wolkait first. And Amhara regional forces, they will try their best to stop Tigray Defense Forces in Wolkait. They would not let Tigray Defense Forces take control of Adir Ahmed and Tasagade to the south of Adir Ahmed. That's what happened, because what we have learned so far is that Tigray Defense Forces are starting their advance towards Wolkait. How deep in Wolkait they are, we don't know. But the strategy is very much clear that Tigray Defense Forces want to take control of Adir Ahmed by moving from Asgadet, Simbla towards Adir Ahmed. That's what happens. Thank you for watching.